Osio, Doichu. Um, Hello and how are you? Doado Kun, Khalia Danadakhanagiski. This is Chief Eagle Spirit Dancing of the Cherokee Blackfeet Cultural Circle. I wanted to play a piece by the Lakota's anthem. Um, and the reason why I usually open up with native chants or drums as native singers anyway. So, but this one in particular I played because we just lost an icon within the indigenous community, Russell Means, and I just wanted to, take a pause, in prayer for this man and what he has accomplished and what he has done within the indigenous community. Okay, and again, to our brother, you will be missed. Rest peacefully and walk with the ancestors. Aho. I didn't really want to get off on a negative note today. I'm actually conjuring up the topic, the subject matter today in my head, so just bear with me. But there was something I wanted to speak on that's been bothering me as of late. This is with regards to the decree that went out from Oklahoma that says certain tribal communities, non-reservation Indians, if you will, whether they're recognized or not, are considered to be fraudulent by the Oklahoma Council. I got wind of this through, peoples in certain circles who will remain nameless, but nonetheless, the info was brought to my attention. And, to them, I say, bear with me. I'm a little under the weather. I haven't been feeling well. To them, I say, have you sat down with any of the members on my council? Do you know anyone within the Cherokee Blackfeet Cultural Circle for them to be labeled and deemed fraudulent? At this point in time, people shouldn't be focused so much on pointing fingers. I wasn't resurrected from a cultural death for nothing. Not knowing that I was Indian for first quarter of my life was difficult. Growing up and people telling you that you're Spanish, Latino, and not many people even really knowing or understanding that a lot of Latinos are mixed Indians who speak Spanish. Some look more Indian than they do their Latin counterparts. But it really disturbs me when I hear these things, because indigenous peoples have suffered tremendously and are still suffering. And for us to be pointing fingers at each other as to say, oh, you're not Indian, you're a fraud. I mean, a time for wasteful arguments, innuendo, just baseless rhetoric or talk that amounts to nothing really It's just talk. They can call us fraudulent all they want because my organization is committed and is working towards establishing a cultural and spiritual base, or Indian base, uh, for our people, to restore that which was taken from us. And I'm not talking about so much as the land, because we've established acres. I won't say how much, but we've established acres that the organization has purchased. So we're self-sustained. We're not subsidized by the federal government or anyone else for that matter. So there's an old saying that who God bless, no man curse. God bless the child that has his own. Well, these Oklahomans who are claiming that we are frauds, but yet they're still receiving subsidies, or if they are receiving subsidies, they need to, turn that finger around and address their own shortcomings. And just it behooves me to want to address this, because it's an issue where some people can become affected by it, where they're looking within themselves, and they're saying, um, why am I being singled out, pointed out, targeted, to what end? I mean, you do have weaker minds out there. Unfortunately, within my organization, we don't have that problem. But the Oklahoma Council, has decreed that it's not just my organization. They're pointing at many different organizations. Now, I will admit there are some out there who are fraudulent. Though the ones who are, I do not know. I can't point my fingers to say who. I have no time for that. Those who are fraudulent in their acts will be weeded out in time, in terms of how they claim their Indianness, because a true Indian doesn't behave in that manner. We look for the good of all human beings, whether they're brown, black, red, white. Those one who be claimed to be indigenous. Color shouldn't be an issue. Now, we are self-sustained as a unit, and determined to restore, again, I reiterate, to restore that which was lost from us, and that is our mind, our very way of existing. People have to learn that being an Indian is not just what you wear on the outside. This is just a reflection of what comes from within. We have to really, take that and analyze it critically for us to become more understanding of what the term Indian means. It's a word some people are offended by. Some indigenous groups don't like to be called Indian, especially today with more and more knowledge and information coming with the internet. Literature is in a whirlwind, if you will. So, there are people who are learning. I'm not Indian. I am, um, Modoc. I am Yuchi. They're going by their nation identity. It's understandable. I respect them wholeheartedly. Christopher Columbus was lost. Never made it to the mainland. So he thought he was in India. So, fine. No problem. Those are still our relatives anyway. To think that you're in India because of the references that you must have had somewhere to say, oh, these are the Indians, so I must be in India. This is who they are. I have no. You can call me Indian all day, and I will never be offended. But our tribal identities, that's a different matter. Some of us are still being um, targeted by others to say, oh, you can't be a part of my group because, we don't have you in our roles. Well, that's just exactly what the Dawes, Baker's roles, all white folks, white people, who were responsible for taking an accounting of these names, if you will, the changing of the indigenous names to English names, which I find interesting. They say that if you're not on the rolls, if we can't find one of your family members, then you cannot be indigenous. But yet we're finding people who look in favor Native Americans throughout this country, especially those who speak English and are of a brown or darker hue, with variations in their hair textures, but strong features. Either they're English or Latino, Hispanic, or some other, genetic type or phenotype, if you will, and don't have much knowledge on the background of their families. But looking at them, you say, hey, you can pass for a Native American or some type of Indian in the Western Hemisphere. So I believe people really need to take time to look and address, something that is obvious if they do not know already, or they might have heard something there in their family line that is a possibility. And then there are those who find there is some evidence there, and then they go soul searching, like myself, because it's basically what happened to me with my adoption. I took the time out one day and said, you know what, enough of this. I'm really going to buckle down and find out who my relatives are, my ancestors, and it paid off for me culturally. Redefined who I am, not just a color. I hear people talk about how proud they are to be black and how they are to be brown and how they are to be white. Does some of your, its parts? Is that it? Is there anything else that you can offer to yourself and the world to say, this is what I represent, not just what's on the outside? This is who I come from. This is what I'm proud of. Some of us, we could look in our family tree and say, well, we're not proud of what our forefathers did or our foremothers did. Therefore, we flee from that. It's understandable. But for the better part, we look to and hope for. So, I actually digressed from what I wanted to speak on. But I'll just note this video here, as Native Americans, known and unknown throughout the diaspora. My next video will be Native Americans and UFOs. Oh yeah, that's going to be an interesting topic. Something I've been thinking about for a very long time, doing some research on. I definitely should grab some eyes, and, a lot of people's attention on that one. Yeah, so the title on this was more likely Native Americans known and unknown throughout the diaspora. And also a remembrance again of our fallen brother, Russell Means. And on that note, I will say, Donada Gahoni Anigido, which is until we meet again, never say goodbye. Peace and blessings.